Hello and welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'd like to discuss with you an issue that I believe is ruining Warzone. The issue being how ridiculously fast the TTK has become. Before we delve deeper into the topic, if you could do me a massive favour and like and subscribe to the channel, it would help me out immensely. So, where did this issue begin? Well, if we take a look back, this all starts with the Cold War integration. This brought in insanely broken guns with incredibly fast time to kill. In fact, let's just take a moment to list all of the broken guns that Cold War has added into Warzone. The DMR, the Type 63, the M16, the AUG, the FFAR, and the MAC-10. Where this becomes concerning for me is, as of April, as me recording this video, we've had more broken guns from Cold War than we've had months with the Cold War integration. To make matters worse, a majority of these guns have had at least one or two nerfs, but unfortunately they just can't seem to get it right. Now that we've discussed the root cause of the issue, I believe that we should look into the ripple effects that having a low TTK is having on the game and the player base. Let's first discuss the ripple effect that this is having on the game itself. With the TTK being much lower than ever before, we're experiencing a very marginal skill gap. And what that means is basically anyone can kill anyone now, as it's become a game of who sees who first and who's got what gun. The best example I can think of this is winning early game fights feels like it's determined by who is able to pick up the floor loot FFAR first. In fact, I'll give you an example of how bad this is getting. I killed a player the other day with the floor loot FFAR, and once I'd killed this individual, I realised he already had his loadout. It was a fully kitted out Grau, and I took one look at it and I put it back down because the floor loot FFAR is simply better than a loadout fully kitted Grau, which, if we're being honest, should absolutely not be the case, which segues quite nicely into the next effect that this is having on the game. There is little to no variety in loadouts anymore. I know that the game wasn't very diverse before the integration, but now it really feels like you're being punished for trying to use something different. Now that we've discussed the ripple effect that this is having on the game, let's take a look at the ripple effect it's having on the player base. In a game where you can be killed in a matter of seconds if you have no cover with no time to react, how are the players adapting? Well, now that players feel punished for moving, they've simply stopped. We've seen an increased rate of camping recently in Warzone, and I don't personally believe the players are to blame. If a player knows that they're going to be penalised for rotating out in the open and pushing players in buildings, they will simply stop doing it, which is why I believe that we've seen an increased rate in vehicle usage, especially in the later zones. Players no longer feel comfortable rotating without one for fear of getting shot and obliterated in 2 seconds. And I'm well aware that people have been screaming for a nerf to the truck because of this. Don't get me wrong, I'm in full agreement. Something does need to be done about the truck, but I want people to understand that the usage of the truck is simply a byproduct of the low TTK that we are now experiencing in the game. With the ripple effects out of the way for both areas and aspects of the game, let's get into the real discussion of what needs to be done to fix this issue. And I'm not just going to blindly say revert the Cold War integration, because I quite enjoy having a game that evolves over time. What is it that needs to be done? Well, in my opinion, what needs to be done is all of the Cold War guns need to be revisited and approached the same as the Modern Warfare guns. What is it that makes the Modern Warfare guns special? Well, what makes them special in my eyes is that each gun has its trade-offs. If you want a laser accurate gun, you pick the Grau. However, in exchange for having such amazing accuracy, you're now losing damage. If you want a high damage gun, you might look at the AMAX, but then you're going to have to deal with some more recoil and a smaller magazine. If you want a fast gun for rushing buildings, you might look at the MP5 or MP7, knowing full well, in exchange, you're going to do less damage at range. And basically, what I'm getting at is each gun needs to have its pros and its cons, but for whatever reason, the Cold War guns, at least the 6 I listed earlier, are objectively perfect. They can all do everything, which defeats the purpose in using anything else, or having to adjust your playstyle to the gun you want. I really enjoy this game, and sometimes it feels like Activision and Raven don't want me to. And that pretty much summarizes everything I wanted to cover in this video. And if you've made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.